In the last chapter, we saw artists reacting to the chaos and destruction of what we now call World War I, but which at the time was the first and only global war. The futurists had celebrated speed, technology, and war, although the real thing proved to be far more horrific than the idea. Dada was founded in neutral Switzerland, where absurdity seemed to be the most reasonable reaction to the chaos of the world. If humans were going to break the world, Dada responded by breaking art. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, which, like Switzerland, remained neutral, we see another reaction to the chaos and absurdity of war. A calm, clear, rational organizing of the world, at least on canvas. In this chapter, we'll look at the movement called simply the style, de Stijl in Dutch. We'll conclude with a look at the incredibly influential German art school called the Bauhaus and the architecture of both. By the time we worked through this material, you'll be able to identify major artists and artworks from the de Stijl movement, to discuss the historical and cultural contexts of those artworks, to compare de Stijl paintings with their interpretation in sculpture and architecture, and to describe the philosophy and explain the impact of the Bauhaus training model. Let's turn back to the map and a look at Europe during World War I. You'll see the Netherlands nestled between Germany and Belgium, countries on opposite sides of the fight. This was the birthplace of Pieter Mondrian, who is best known by the shortened form of his first name and with one less A in his last name. That shortened form of his name, Piet, looks kind of French, so people sometimes mispronounce it as Piet or Piet, but it's really just Piet. Although Piet Mondrian was born in the Netherlands, he moved to Paris in 1912 and was inspired by the Parisian avant-garde, including the Cubism of Braque and Picasso. In Farm near Duivendrecht, we see those influences combined in this landscape of a Dutch farm that he returned to repeatedly. It's very much a recognizable scene and, of course, very traditional subject matter, but we do see him beginning to fragment both the buildings and trees into geometric shapes. This landscape was painted in 1916 in the midst of the war. Mondrian had come back to the Netherlands in 1914 to visit his ill father and ended up staying through the end of the war before he was able to return to Paris. Scenes like this one were more popular with buyers than his earlier Cubist-inspired experimentations, like Grey Tree from 1912. Here, although we see expressive and skillful brushwork, facture, the recognizable touch of the artist's hand in handling the paint, Mondrian has moved to a monochromatic and a more abstract, grid-like approach to the subject matter. Both of those might remind you of Cubism, especially analytic Cubism. And Mondrian was definitely inspired by Picasso and Braque, as we mentioned. However, he didn't think Cubism went quite far enough. Mondrian wrote, "Cubism did not accept the logical consequences of its own discoveries. It was not developing abstraction toward its ultimate goal, the expression of pure reality. I felt that this could only be established by pure plasticism." This 1915 painting is even more abstract and grid-like. Its title, composition number 10, Pier and Ocean, suggests a landscape or seascape, but the painting itself is extraordinarily abstract. Black and white with a series of horizontal and vertical lines against a central oval that softens and frays at its edges. As we look deeply, we might begin to see a horizon line and perhaps even a vertical pier against rippling waves, but any recognizable scene here has been stripped down to its absolute skeleton. This painting was the inspiration for a project created by the band Fault as part of a contest called Art Rocks, which challenges entrants how does a work of art sound, and invites musicians to submit a song inspired by visual art. Check out the link and video to see how the band interpreted this Mondrian painting, and in your journal, write your reaction. What did you notice about their project and about the painting? What is your reaction to each?